So you want to build a house in Surrey? Every new building in Surrey must comply with city bylaws and building codes. If you are not familiar with these bylaws and building codes, it may cost you significant time and money. You may need to redo your building plans, complete unfinished documentation, or even restart the entire application process. So save yourself time and money by hiring a team of qualified professionals who are familiar with the City of Surrey's planning and development process. These experts can identify what bylaws and codes will impact your building plans so that your application is a success. Here are some details they will walk you through. First, zoning. Is your property zoned for business, industry, or housing? A qualified house designer or builder can help determine the zoning of your property so you know what you can build, how big it can be, and what it can be used for. Second, service connections. How will you connect to existing gas, water, electrical, storm, sewer, and other services? Here, a qualified engineer can guide you. This is especially important if you want a basement. Some service connections are not deep enough to allow for a basement, or perhaps your land is sloped in a way that would turn your dream basement into an unwanted indoor swimming pool. A qualified engineer will know what calculations to perform for your specific lot. Also consider that some service connections may need upgrades. A qualified house designer or engineer can help ensure these connections do not interfere with the driveway or protected trees when designing your plans. Third, special conditions. Does your property have heritage status? Is there a building scheme that prevents you from building higher than 2 stories? Are there setbacks to protect your home from future road widening? Or is there an easement that won't allow you to build on 2/3 of your lot? There are many special conditions that could restrict your build. So before you begin your building plans, look to a qualified house designer for help completing a title search and context review, which may highlight any special conditions. Fourth, protected trees. Trees on both your and your neighbor's properties may impact your building plans. Many trees are protected by city bylaws. Although some cases allow for a tree cutting permit, be aware of the restrictions. This tree gives too much shade, or this tree is wrecking my driveway, are examples of reasons that will not be accepted. You could be fined up to $10,000 for cutting down or damaging a protected tree. Here, a qualified builder or arborist can help. Also, check with the city website before drafting your building plans. Fifth, development permit areas. Will your home be built on a steep slope, beside a sensitive ecosystem, or in agricultural land? If so, you might require a development permit in addition to your building permit. Your qualified house designer can make the proper inquiries to see if any of these apply to you. Sixth, environmental protection areas. Salmon, deer, beavers, and birds also call Surrey home. The city protects significant habitats for these species. A qualified house designer or biologist can help find out if your property is near an environmental protected area and the implications on your build. You can also contact the city's Planning and Development Department directly. Hire a qualified team. There are many crucial factors to consider when building a house in Surrey. Ignoring them may stall your build, costing you valuable time and money. Hire a team of qualified professionals to help you navigate zoning, service connections, special conditions, protected trees, development permit areas, and environmental protection areas. For more information, visit surrey.ca. To build your dream home in Surrey, you will first need a building permit. Work with your team of qualified professionals to prepare your application form, building plans, and supporting documents, and be prepared to pay the application fee. Visit the City of Surrey website for details, or go to City Hall and inquire in person. Application forms are available at City Hall second floor counter. See the City website for an example form. On the City's website, you can also find detailed guidelines for how to submit your building plan drawings. These drawings must detail everything about your build, from foundation plans, to elevation drawings, to engineered truss layout, and more. Ensure that drawings sealed by a registered professional are properly executed. Applications with inadequate drawings will be rejected. In addition to your application form and drawings, you will need to submit a number of supporting documents. Some documents are required for all applications. These are Schedule B and the Homeowner Protection Office Builder Form or Owner Builder Form. Other documents are only required for some applications. They inform the city of important factors that impact your building plans. For example, the title search will inform the city of special conditions such as the setback that prevents you from building too close to the road. The zoning data sheet will inform the city if your building plans match your neighborhood zoning bylaws. Additional supporting documents may be required to inform the City of details specific to your plans. Be sure you and your team check the City of Surrey website for details. Finally, the fees. A portion of the fees must be paid at the time you submit your application. The remainder of the fees are required before you will be issued your permit. Submit your application. Once you have your completed application form, building plans, and necessary supporting documents, you can go to the second floor counter at Surrey City Hall to submit your application and pay the fee. Visit the City of Surrey website for all the necessary documents and for more information. You are eager to build your new home in Surrey, and you've applied for your building permit. If your application is missing significant details or documents, it will be rejected. If your application is filled out correctly, City staff will examine it in detail. Be aware, even a complete application must pass a number of steps before your building permit is issued. Check your email and make sure you and your team are prepared to respond to these next steps. Deficiency List. After reviewing your plans and documents, the city may send you a list of deficiencies to address. You may need to revise your building plans in order to follow zoning requirements, building code safety measures, or restrictive covenants. For example, your property might have a right-of-way that forbids digging a basement because there are important underground service connections servicing your neighborhood. Minimize delays by learning about all the factors that may affect your house design before you draw your blueprints. The city suggests hiring a qualified house designer who is familiar with the process in Surrey. Additional permits. To knock down your old house, you'll need a demolition permit. To redo your driveway, a driveway permit is needed. The City of Surrey will inform you of additional permits and fees that apply to you. Service connections. Sewer, water, and other service connections may need an upgrade or redesign to fit your new home. For example, any city service installed more than 30 years ago may need to be replaced. The city will inform you where service upgrades are required and the associated costs. You will need to have your builder replace or install sewer and storm service connections. Water service connections are completed by city workers at the owner's expense. Pre-damage meeting. Sites must be examined prior to construction to ensure city property such as roads or sidewalks are not damaged. The city will schedule an on-site meeting with you or with your builder or contractor. Applicable fees and damage deposits will also be collected. Trees. Trees on your lot, as well as your neighbor's lot, will impact construction. In some cases, the city makes exceptions for trees to be cut down. However, in most cases, they will need to be preserved. The city will review your plans and send you next steps to pay tree bonds, set up tree protection barriers, apply for a tree cutting permit, and more. Remember, cutting trees without a permit could cost you up to $10,000 in fines. Your building permit. Once you have completed these steps and city staff are satisfied with your application, your building permit will be issued. Now that you have your building permit, be sure to secure your plumbing and electrical trade permits and a sprinkler permit if applicable. Once you have all your permits, your qualified builder may begin construction. The time it takes to have a building permit issued depends on the complexity of your application, payment and processing of any additional permits you need, and the number of building permits being reviewed by the city at the time. Be patient with the process and respond to city emails promptly to move your application forward. For more information, visit surrey.ca. Congratulations! If your building permit was accepted, you are now ready to build your new home in Surrey. As you begin your build, your qualified team must be prepared to book a number of inspections. Note that only the builder, plumber, or electrician specified on your permits can call for their respective inspections. Keep in mind, inspections will be delayed if your site is unsafe or inaccessible, you do not have your accepted building plans on site, or if the inspector arrives to find your work is incomplete. You can avoid these delays and fees by ensuring you are ready for each of the required inspections. As you complete each stage of your build, be aware that the inspector may identify deficiencies your team needs to address. Re-inspections will be required until the inspector is satisfied with the work and issues an acceptance. Having an inspection is not enough to move on in your building. You must have an acceptance to move on to the next stage. Here is an overview of the inspections your team will need to book. Building inspections start with the form inspection. Here, the inspector will examine the foundation and any footings that will support your home. Plumbing inspections start with the damp proofing and drain tile inspection, the services inspection, and the rough-in plumbing inspection. For electrical, you may need to install temporary power to your site so your builders can run their equipment. If so, you will need to book a temporary power inspection. For all builds, a rough-in wiring inspection is required. Once your rough-in plumbing and rough-in wiring inspections have been accepted, you can move on to the next stage in building inspections. Here, you will need a framing inspection. You may need a sheathing inspection if sheathing is a part of your design, and you will need an insulation inspection. Be sure your insulation is accepted before moving on to your final electrical and plumbing inspections. Note that additional inspections may also be required for service connections, boulevard damage, and more. Then, you're almost done. Once the inspector accepts the final electrical and plumbing, you can book your last building inspection, the final occupancy inspection. You can move into your new home only after the inspector grants a final acceptance. And then, welcome home. As your team begins building, remember to be ready for each inspection. Failed inspections will cost time and money. So before booking, ensure the site is safe and accessible. A record of your accepted building plans is on site. A copy of all accepted inspections is on site, and all work is completed and ready for inspection. Remember that inspections can only be booked by the qualified builder, plumber, or electrician specified on your accepted building, plumbing, and electrical permits. Inspections can be booked in person, via phone, or online. For more information, visit surrey.ca.